進むべき道、私が照らして差し上げますにゃ。アビーテと申しますにゃ。生命を宿したまえ。
Hey Octopath Traveler community, Silver Rocks is here, and the unit coming to Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent this week is a long-awaited unit. It is finally time for Aviete, the cleric Kate Sage, to make her grand appearance. So you probably heard a lot about her already, but what does she actually do for her role overview? So she is a cleric, and her role is a support, and a Divine Beast plus Keeper support, which is a very unique role. Her special abilities is that she has the unique ability to reduce allies' Keeper cooldowns, including the use of the Divine Beast, and can also restore use of the Divine Beast and double cast their skills. Her preferred weapons would be Fortune Staffs for higher magic attack for better regen if using her for that, or for more HP if not using her for healing. Preferred accessories would be support accessories as needed, and buff extension A4s if you have any to make her various buffs last longer if you're using her for that as well. For her passive skills, her basic passive is that after she uses an Advent skill, which are labeled as named Advent skill, she'll grant herself 1 Reverence stack, and after using her EX skill or ultimate, she'll gain 3 stacks. Her 1-star passive is that she gives herself 15% magic attack up, and she can crit with magic, and then she grants herself the following benefits based on Reverence stacks owned. If she has 3 or more Reverence, she halves the Re's cooldown of Keeper skills for herself, which means the number that says on a Keeper for reusing their skill is divided by 2 for herself. If she has 6 or more Reverence, then she has a permanent 5%, a passive 5% SP regen. And then the 6-star skill evolution for this passive is that if she has 9 Reverence stacks, she will then double cast all Divine Beast skills. Which is very, very good because the Divine Beast skills stack with themselves and will then last longer. So instead of lasting for 1 turn, the priority battle Divine Beast skills will then double cast their hits and last for 2 turns for the damage up. And if you use the ones that go at the end of the turn, that then give you 2 turns of damage up, which is intended to give you the next turn of damage up, that'll actually stack and give you 3 turns of damage up, because it'll be 2 plus 2 is 4, but then 1 goes away immediately at the end of the turn, so then you have 3 turns, so it ends up lasting 1 turn longer than the priority ones do. So those actually become a useful Divine Beast again. Then her 3-star passive is that she grants the front row the following benefits based on number of Reverence stacks owned. If she has 3 or more Reverence, they get 10% physical attack, magic attack, physical defense, and magic defense up. 6 or more Reverence, a permanent passive HP regen of 50 regen strength, and 9 or more Reverence, 50,000 damage cap up. And just for reference on Reverence stacks, if you actually, the way to optimally use her, if you have her Ultimate Awaken, which we'll cover later, you can actually get to 9 Reverence by turn 3. So it doesn't take very long to get the damage cap up or the ability to double cast Divine Beast skills. For her TP passive, at the start of battle, she grant herself an HP barrier equal to 50% of her own max HP, and gain 100% ultimate gauge charge, and gain 5 Arcana Stones, which is the thing needed for the Divine Beast or summoning special allies. Also reduce the initial cooldown for the front row's Keeper skills by 3 turns. So pretty much most Keeper skills, the initial cooldown use isn't that high. So this will allow you to use almost any Keeper you want on round 1. Some obviously have a bit of a higher one, but this is still very good because anybody that starts in the front row, including either herself or if she's in the back row, doesn't matter. Just boom, instant use to pet Keeper skills, which allows a lot of more speed options as well. And then the TP level 2 enhancement that comes out in the future is that she'll actually grant herself 200% ultimate gauge charge instead, which means she can just start the battle not needing to use an ult charge A4 or a pet in order to gain to 200% meter, to then just boop instantly be able to use her ult right away in turn 1 with 200%, which is very optimal for her. But as a note, remember the TP level 2 is not yet released for global, just listing it so people know in advance that she does get it is a very good upgrade that she gets in the future. Onto her skills. Her base kit, she has a single ally heal that at max boost targets the front row instead. Then she has an Advent skill that is a 2-hit AoE win that exploits Sword. With 3 or more Reverence, it becomes 3 hits. And with 6 or more Reverence, it also inflicts 10% physical attack / magic attack down for 2 turns. Then she has another Advent skill that is a 3-hit random target Dark that exploits Dagger. And with 3 or more Reverence, it becomes 4 hits. And with 6 or more Reverence, each hit has a small chance to inflict 10% physical defense, magic defense down for 2 turns. Then she has a Grant Front Row Rehabilitate for 1 to 4 turns, which at max boost, this targets all allies. Rehabilitate, as a reminder, removes all normal status effects and grants immunity to them for that duration. So it can be very useful for some fights that just like to inflict paralyze, sleep, poison, blind, things like that. It doesn't block the special status elements, so just keep that in mind. The ones that you need like a special skill like Shauna has and stuff to block. So if things go through this, then those are special ailments. Then she has another Advent skill that she can only use up to twice per battle, which grants the Front Row Auto Revive, and at max boost targets all allies that heals 25 to 100% HP on Revive, depending on how much you boost it. So this is a very useful skill as well, to just give everybody Revive if you think it's a really dangerous fight. Then she has her 3-star skill is another Advent skill that is a 4-hit random target Light that exploits Fan and grants the Front Row 15% elemental damage up for 2 turns. With 3 or more Reverence, it becomes 5 hits instead. And with 6 or more Reverence, it also grants the Front Row 15% physical damage up instead as well. So she can be used for both magic and physical teams. Her 4-star skill is that she has a Front Row Heal plus HP regen for 2 to 5 turns that at max boost reaches all allies. So that's actually really good for a burst heal and giving decent all allies regen. Then she has an Advent skill that's a 3-hit AoE Lightning that exploits Staff, plus buff the Front Row 15% physical attack, magic attack for 2 turns, which at 3 or more Reverence becomes a 4-hit AoE instead, and at 6 or more Reverence, the buff lasts for 3 turns. And then she has another Advent skill that's a 3-hit AoE Ice that exploits Tome, and buffs the Front Rows with 15% physical defense and magic defense up for 2 turns, becoming 4 hits with 3 or more Reverence, and the buff lasts for 3 turns as well with 6 or more Reverence. And then her TP skill is one final Advent skill that's a 3-hit single target Fire that exploits all other elemental weaknesses: Ice, Lightning, Wind, Light, and Dark. It's just basic like that. And then, but when the TP level 2 enhancement comes out in the future, if she has at least 6 or more Reverence, then she will also buff the Front Rows physical attack, magic attack, physical defense, and magic defense up for 2 turns by 10%. But as a reminder, it's not yet released for global. So onto her EX skill plus ultimate technique, which is what she's going to be using 90% of the time you use her. Her EX skill has 1 total use, unlocked when she has 3 or more Reverence points. It gives all allies 15% physical attack, physical defense, magic defense up for 2 to 5 turns, plus restores 100% of their ultimate gauge charge, and also restores 1 usage of Divine Beasts. So because this requires 3 or more Reverence, you can actually use this on 2 and 2 if you ult turn 1. And as you'll see later, like the most common thing you'll use with her is ult. EX skill ult is the best way to use her because it gets you to 9 points instantly. So speaking of her ultimate technique is a support class ultimate called the Sacred Tree's Grace. It heals all allies for 10% of their max HP and grants them a 10% physical attack, physical defense, magic defense buff up for 2 turns, and reduce their cooldown for keeper skills by 4 turns. And then if used at 200% gauge, it'll also grant all allies a 50% potency up for 3 turns, and 50,000 damage cap up for 3 turns. As a reminder, the potency up cannot be stacked, so if you try to use another potency up that's greater, that one's going to take effect instead of the 50% one. But the damage cap does stack infinitely with all various sources, although this is ultimate damage cap, so this will be ultimate damage cap for 3 turns. So if you stack it with another ultimate damage cap, it will stack together with the turn duration as well. And with the buff extension A4 will extend the damage cap, it will not extend the potency up. At ultimate level 10, the heal scales to 20% and the buff scale to 15% for 3 turns now. At ult 20, these heal scales to 30% and the buff scale to 20%. At ult 20, it gains 40% charge per BP, 80% with AU, 4 BP to fully charge, 2 BP with AU. And the 200% gauge activation effect is back surge, which means she can use this ult from the back row the same turn the front row ally attacks. So yeah, you just back surge this turn 1, and it's extremely good. AU priority is I would definitely AU first for active usage, because not even because you can be able to use it quickly, because she already starts with a very almost full gauge that even with a pet anybody can get to max without AU for, so you can use her right away. It's just that in the future when you can start with 200% and you're still using her, like, you want to be able to use the ult a second time without having to restore it. Onto her awakenings plus A4 accessory plus TP level 2 bonus. A1 is just better for magic attack and for better healing and passive HP regen. A2 is a luxury because she mostly uses ult and EX skills and then just vibes in the back row. A3, HP is always good to survive. And then her A4 accessory is called the Kate Cleric's Floral Ornament. It gives 600 HP and 80 SP. And what it does is it halves the reuse cooldown for the paired allies keeper skill for the entire battle. And at the start of battle, reduce pair allies' initial cooldown for their keeper skill by 2 turns. So this will also stack with her passive as well, so it can make other keepers take even less time to be ready to go. And if you're using Aviete in the same battle as this A4. The A4 tier rating of this is an SS tier A4 because this is an exceptional support A4 that everyone should exchange towards. Amazing for speed clears and long clears alike, as it allows you to use stronger keepers with higher cooldowns much more often just by existing with this accessory behind them. And this is a still completely unique and even in JP accessory. The TP level 2 bonus from having both passive and active level 2s unlocked in the far future is all allies will gain 15,000 damage cap up with elemental attacks if she's in the party, so bonus damage cap for magic is good if you're using it for rainbow teams. Alright, on to an optimal skill loadout. This is kind of hard to explain, but because she doesn't really use her skills that often, but if you do need to use her skills for longer battles or the like, you can also, I would take her front row all allies heal plus regen, because this lets her act as a HP regen bot as well. So maybe if you don't need the SP that badly, you could use her instead of Shauna, for example, to get all allies regen. It won't buff your max HP or give you a temporary HP barrier to help survive, but if that's not necessary, this could be a useful replacement for being able to give more damage cap than Shauna can for speedier clears. So that way it helps. Skill 2, front row / all allies rehabilitate. Same reason, very, very good to be able to just say, no, we're immune to status ailments if you're fighting certain fights that do really annoying ones that this does block. Skill 3, the 4 to 5 hit random target light that also buffs elemental damage up, and with 6 or more reverence it buffs physical damage up, so she can be a damage up support. And then skill 4 with A2 eventually 3 hit AoE of either lightning or ice depending on which buff you want. But gonna be real, most of the time you are gonna just ult, EX skill ult, and she stays in the back row and never uses her normal skills because that gets her to 9 reverence immediately. So, you know, it just kind of varies in how you want to use her in battle, but most of the time that's the most optimal way to use her. Because that's just ult, EX skill ult, that's giving you all those turns of damage cap up because it's easy to do 200% with AU. And the EX skill, which is buffing all allies, so it's like she's being very, very useful. It's just a win-win-win. And she now has 9 reverence immediately, so now as soon as turn 4 you can double cast Divine Beast skills. That's amazing. Alright, so for unit synergy, this one's a very short page because all teams, yes, I'm serious, Aviete is a universal support and can work with any team. She favors magic-based comps, but can still help out nearly identically as well for physical comps too. There isn't any specific unit currently that matters to have her with, as she can support everyone. So just find a place on her team that she works, and there you go. Alright, so to pull or not to pull plus overall rating. Aviete is finally here, long awaited by many as an extremely viable support unit for both speed clearing and turtle clearing alike. While her game plan is usually pretty simple, she's an extremely viable unit for quite some time for literally any team that exists. It is certainly getting tougher to find team slots for all these great choices, huh? Well, spoiler alert, it is a gacha, and that problem will only continue to grow. So choose wisely with those that are fun to use, but her A4 is pretty much a must-own, so planning to get at least one copy is likely a good decision. Note that this is an excellent banner to do a 200 pull past pity for another MT you might be missing, if you're missing someone like Shauna, Bargello, etc. Because this is a unit that does want dupes, and therefore worth doing 200 pulls on if you want to pass pity another MT to guarantee them. This is really good for free-to-play / low spenders that don't have access to the paid banners, because that is a guaranteed way to get Bargello, to get access to his A4, Shauna, because she's still the best support in the game for quite some time, etc. As always, pull advice is just advice. Please pull responsibly. Tier 4, free-to-play, 1 copy in bail, exchange for A4 AU / A4 later. Obviously, unless you're doing the 200 pass pull pity, then hope you get multiple copies. Tier 3, low spend / passes, same as F2P, even excluding the pass pity option as well. Tier 2, Dolphin, A0 AU at most, or just wait it out for the exchange like F2Ps. Tier 1, Whale, A4 AU. So for overall rating, DPS, D. I mean, I have to rate it even if she's not a DPS unit. Only up to 5 hits and not very good potencies, no self-potency up, etc., etc. Don't use her for damage. It doesn't matter if people will showcase damage showcases of her. But just because people do that doesn't mean she is a damage unit. Don't use her for damage. She is a support unit. Please use her for support. Because as for support, SSS tier for support. It's phenomenal support that nobody else can do just by existing. Amazing buffs, and she's still the only unit in the game that can affect keepers at this time. So until that niche is taken away from her, she does have a solid spot that for potential clears that no other unit can provide. Healing, SS tier, all allies regen, and also constant passive allies regen as early as turn 2. Yeah, she can keep your team alive with regen as well. And in healing and front row and rehabilitate and front row all allies rehabilitate and auto revive. So yeah, very, very useful. Tank, not available because auto revive is more part of healing than tanking. Overall tier, honestly, lower end of SS. Basically a must-pull unit if you can afford it. If you're dead broke, waiting for like Final Fantasy VI, I get it. But she is a unit that's really, really good. At least like being at MT, worst case, if you have to miss her, you could pass pity on a later MT in the far future potentially. But like I said, this is a very, very, very unique support. If you're struggling with, say, fighting AOA, she's going to help with that. Like, there's just a lot of good options just by existing. She's going to help. And yeah, I mean, she's been a long waited for a reason. She's on a must pull and most pull priority list for a reason. So here you go. This is Aviete. This is what she does. So good luck to everybody that's pulling for her. I'll definitely try to pull for her myself. I'll probably just get 1 copy in bail unless I'm near pity, of course, just because even if I have the ability to spend slightly because I'm more of a low spender now, and just with a lot of tap trade rubies doesn't mean I'm going to dump all my stash just to get an extra copy. Because in my opinion is that if you can wait to exchange, you should, because that way it's cheaper for your account on rubies than pulling for a dupe, because that way you can save those rubies to pull for super limited dupes instead, depending on, you know, your course and your rubies. This is not advice saying, oh, dump your entire stash for super limited A4s all the time. No, you have to be very, very specific, but if you can, then those are the ones to go for. Don't chase dupes on units you can exchange for, in my opinion. With that little mini rant over, thanks for everyone that watches this channel for all the things that it does, the COTC content and Sonic content alike. Please, all support is appreciated, and thank you very much as I currently try to do this full time with my disability to make enough money to survive. So thanks to all that watch. Please check us out for all our other things as well, and we do have a Patreon now for supporting us as well, so please consider checking that out or joining the channel membership, as all bit of support really does help it continue making content like this to help all things and all places. I hope everybody enjoyed. Good luck on your pulls, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. See ya.